Thank you to DistroKid for sponsoring this video and supporting my channel.
Music producers are one of the most important factors when it comes to creating a song, and yet somehow we often get left with the short end of the stick and fending for ourselves. So then today I wanted to talk to you about how we can start to change all of this, and then show you an easy way that you can use to take control of your career, grow as a producer, and get ahead. Hey there, I'm Calderon and welcome back to another video. Hopefully you're doing well. Before we get started, if you enjoy my content, please make sure to drop a like and a comment as it helps with the YouTube algorithm and allows us to grow. And finally, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can get notified of the next time that I post. Thank you so much for your support. So today I wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my mind lately, and that is that being just a producer in 2020 and in the future, really, just moving forward, is not enough. Now, if you watch this channel, then chances are that you too are a music producer in some way, shape, or form. And although I personally don't know where you are in your career, I can bet that at some point or another, you've taken the backseat approach when it comes to producing, because I know that I have. But okay, what exactly am I talking about when I say the backseat approach? The backseat approach is depending on somebody else for your success. It is waiting for an external factor to progress your career. And traditionally, this is the route that we've all taken as producers for forever, either by design or by choice. Let's break it down. Traditionally, as a music producer or beat maker, we create instrumentals and we either send them off or sell them to artists to create songs. Generally speaking, in most of these scenarios, the driver of this metaphorical car is the artist or their label, because for whatever reason, even though you both worked on the song, it is considered to be the artist's song, so they or their label decide when the song is released, if at all, and when it does get released, it will be the artist's name that is highlighted in the front. You as a producer, and as important as you were for the creation of the song, were never really in control. You, my friend, we're in the backseat. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a hate post on artists. I work with them all the time, and I think working with artists is amazing, especially when you find someone who you're truly vibing with and someone who you're truly a fan of. I'm also not here to complain about the current state of the music industry, but what I am saying is that traditionally the role of a producer is very reactive, meaning that we have to wait on others for our careers to progress. So what I'm saying to you today is that aside from working with artists, we as producers should be positioning ourselves more and more in a place to win, in a place where we are the drivers of our careers and where we can dictate more of our success. There are a bunch of ways to do this, like starting a YouTube channel, streaming on Twitch, and so many more, but today I wanted to talk to you specifically about the easiest one, relatively speaking, and the one that we have the most control over, and that is transitioning from thinking of ourselves as just producers to also artists, and ultimately releasing our music on streaming platforms under our own names. Now, when I say an artist, I don't mean that you have to hop on the track and rap or sing, although if you can do that, then even better. What I'm referring to is that we need to be thinking of our beats and our music as less of an incomplete piece of art that needs a vocalist, and more as something that is already good enough and ready for the world to enjoy. Alternatively, you could even strike some sort of deal with any artist that you work with, where you decide that any music that you guys work on will be released under both of your names. But okay, why would you do this? What are the benefits? I can think of 3 off the top of my head. The first reason this might be a worthy consideration is that by doing so, you will be building a brand and a reputation for yourself, and especially if you couple this with social media. Maybe you can make snippets of yourself making beats or making a beat, and then at the end redirect people to listen to the whole thing on their preferred streaming platform of choice. Over time, and if you're consistent, this could potentially build a nice solid supporter and fan base that will be eager and waiting for you to drop your next beat. The second reason, and this one piggybacks off the first, is that as you start to grow your fan base, you can start to make some decent streaming revenue with an unlimited upside, meaning that as your audience grows, so does your revenue. There is no cap. Finally, the last benefit to you uploading your beats to streaming platforms, and probably the most important, is that as your reputation and fan base starts to grow, you will have more leverage as a producer when it comes to working with artists and labels. A lot of times as producers, we tend to undercharge, or a lot of times get lowballed, but it's harder to undersell yourself whenever you have numbers to back that up. If you're getting some decent plays on streaming platforms and you have a solid supporter base, then you have a much firmer and more stable ground to stand on so you can get what you deserve when dealing with artists and labels. So then, now that you know some of the benefits, you might be asking yourself, okay, Ivan, that all sounds great, but how do I do it? The answer is distribution companies that are geared towards independent artists like you and me. And there's a bunch out there, but my favorite and the one that a lot of the artists that I work with use is called the DistroKid, who were also gracious enough to sponsor this video. I've actually done a full video on DistroKid and who they are and how to use their service, so I'm gonna link that up top for you here. But the gist of it is that DistroKid is a really affordable music distribution service or platform for independent artists. For as low as 20 bucks a year, you can upload unlimited songs to all streaming platforms and start to build your fan base. What's really awesome is that they have this really cool tool called Hyperfollow that allows you to market your beats or music as soon as you upload it to their platform so people can start to pre-save the song on places like Spotify. It's kind of like building a hype before the actual song or beat drops, and what's even better is that once you do drop it, once the release date does come around, that Hyperfollow page will automatically update to include the links to all streaming platforms. So then if we use that marketing example from earlier, you could hypothetically post a snippet of something that you're working on to your socials and then tell people to go hit that Hyperfollow link that's going to be linked in your bio so they can pre-save the song for when it drops and even follow you on Spotify. When the actual release date comes around, you can make another post, maybe this time with a small visual kind of giving them more of the beat, and then tell people to once again go hit that Hyperfollow link, which will now be updated to redirect people to their streaming platform of choice. To help you even more, DistroKid was kind enough to provide us with a 7% off discount code for your first year, and you can access that by clicking the first link in the description or by heading over to distrokid.com/Ivan. Now, really quickly, because this was also a concern that I had with all of this, from what I understand, you can still sell or lease your beats even if you upload them to streaming platforms as your own releases. I'm no entertainment lawyer, so huge disclaimer there, but again, from what I understand, when someone records their vocals on top of your beat, they're essentially making a new creation, or what they call in fancy music terms, a derivative. So theoretically, it is possible for you to upload your beats as your own releases to streaming platforms and then have an artist who also hopped on it release it themselves once it's time for them to do their thing. Worst case scenario though, you could always just make two types of beats, like maybe you just make a batch that you shop for artists and then another batch for your own personal releases. If you are an entertainment lawyer or if you just know more about this topic, then I definitely encourage you to shed some light on us down in the comment section below. Anyway, this video was as much for you as it was for me because I too find myself from time to time being in the backseat of my career, and I think it's finally time to start to shake things up a little bit. So then, to walk the walk and not just sit here and blab, I will be taking my own advice. On September 25th, I will be releasing my first beat tape, and I'm laughing because I literally just made up this date on the spot. So now it's a real thing. I don't know if you remember, but back in April, I did a beat challenge over the course of that month, and I made about 18 beats. Now, originally this challenge was really just for me to kind of get myself back into a creative mode and to challenge myself, but after I finished it, I figured, hey, I should probably release these in some way, shape, or form. For whatever reason though, I slacked and they're almost done, I just have to mix them. But as I've been thinking more and more about this topic, about us as producers taking more control over our careers, I thought, you know what? Not only do I want to make this video for you guys, but I also want to take my own advice and finally put those beats out. So again, September 25th, be on the lookout for that. But okay, now I want to hear from you. What do you think about all that I just said? Do you agree with me? Do you think that it's time to be more than just a producer moving forward? Or do you think I'm just full of baloney? Or are you one of those producers who's already putting out your beats on streaming platforms? And if so, how's that going for you? But that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, like this video if you like to, subscribe if you're not already. But I'll see you on the next one.